Okay, FIMU volunteers, I'm going to show you how to apply the decal, the FIMU decal, onto the dollar store cup. So the first thing that you're going to have to do is you're going to have to remove the lettering from the FIMU decal, as I've already done on this specific decal. So as you can see, make sure that the P still has that little dot there and the G still has that little dot there, because you're going to want to keep those on the design. I also recommend only doing one of these at a time, because if you do all of them at once, it's really easy for those little dots to fall off and get lost in the shuffle, and then you're down one decal. Okay. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to have a piece of transfer tape that I've given you, and I've already used this piece of transfer tape, so it's not really stuck on the backing well. I've just put it there for storage in between applications. So the first thing you're going to do is then take off that transfer tape. Once you've taken this off, what this does is it keeps all of the letters together, and it keeps the shape because the vinyl actually does stretch a little bit. So after you take off the piece of transfer tape, you're going to just line it up however you'd like on the FIMU decal. I use the red line to kind of line up on the tips of the quatrefoil, just so that I know that it's centered, and it just kind of makes it a little bit easier for me down the road. Okay, once it's on, as you can see, it's not stuck all the way, so you're going to use a credit card or some sort of scraper to scrape down this piece of transfer tape. You want to do this so that it's strongly adhered to the FIMU decal, and especially adhered to that little insert in the P and the little insert in the G. Once that has been pretty well smushed down, you can then remove the quatrefoil decal from the larger sheet. What you can do is you can remove some of the vinyl from the outside to kind of start, and then put your fingernail or whatever you'd like to use under the edge to start getting that decal up. As you can see, I've stopped for a second to check to make sure that little P, the little dot from the P, has been picked up, because if it hasn't, you're going to want to put it back down and smush it on there again to make sure the transfer tape has in fact picked up that little piece. So I'm just going to carefully pull back the rest of the decal. The G little guy got picked up also, and now I have my lovely FIMU decal. Okay? So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to take your cup or bottle, whatever you have been assigned, whatever you got, and carefully line up the decal so that it's relatively straight and centered on your cup. I know that's hard to do. Some of them have lines, but just really use your best judgment. It's progress, not perfection. What I like to do is, given the quatrefoil shape, is what I do is I smush down the middle section so that this center section is very well adhered to the cup. And then, because the vinyl is sort of hard to get the bubbles out and get it laying smoothly, I then will slowly move outward to one side to smooth the side, and then smooth the other side down. So I'm going to go ahead and start moving right, and just with my finger, kind of carefully smoothing it down and working out some of the larger bubbles as I'm smushing it down. Just making sure that there are no bubbles, there are no wrinkles, and that kind of thing. There's nothing large that's messed up. And now, starting from the center again, I'm going to move outward, and again, just making sure that there are no wrinkles in the decal or large bubbles that are going to create problems in the appearance. So I saw a little wrinkle down here, so I just kind of smoothed it out with my finger. And then before you remove the transfer tape, you're going to want to take your scraper or credit card again and kind of scrape down really well across the decal. This makes sure that those little pieces, like the little piece here in the G and that little piece in the F and the H, that all those little tiny pieces get adhered really well to the cup, and that they're not going to start coming up when you remove the transfer tape. Okay? So now that I have done a relatively decent job of scraping this all over, I'm going to carefully get the corner of my transfer tape and start removing it, making sure that nothing is coming off, and nothing did. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my cup over, because I'm not sure if you can see in the video, but you'll be able to see in your cup that there are some lighter areas on my decal that show that the decal has not adhered 100% to the cup. So you can either use your finger, which will, get those bubbles out, or you can go back and use your scraper and focus on the areas of the decal that did not get 100% stuck on there. The reason that we do that is because we want these to last a while, and we don't want them to start peeling up or coming apart in the dishwasher, and this will just add an extra quality control to make sure these decals are good. And so there you have it, this lovely FGCU Fine Mu cup that you have put together. Thank you so much for your help, and feel free to email me if you have any questions.